A massively daunting update for the Democrats as the redistricting wars launched by Trump continue to devolve. So Alabama is now moving to eliminate their existing 5-2 map and revert back to their previously struck down 6-1 map. And that packs voters from Montgomery to Birmingham all into one district. And of course, this follows Tennessee successfully eliminating all Democratic districts. That cracks Nashville and Memphis. Louisiana goes from 2 Democratic seats down to 1. South Carolina is now advancing a map that eliminates the state's only Democratic seats. And of course, all of that is in addition to the 5 additional Republican seats in Texas, 4 in Florida, 2 in Ohio, 1 in North Carolina, and 1 in Missouri so far. And I presume this trend will continue with Republicans eventually eliminating almost all, if not all, Democratic districts in states that they control. So here are a few hard truths. First of all, they will not stop. The Republicans, to their credit, engage in these long-term projects. Whether it's Roe or the Voting Rights Act, they will fight for something even if it takes them 50 or 60 years. And they did. In this case, they were successful, which means that Democrats will not be able to reason with them. They will not be able to compromise with them. They will gain nothing by conferring goodwill to the other side. And frankly, the only thing worse than watching Republicans run roughshod over our democracy is Democrats thinking that some misguided sense of compromise is going to change anything. My second point, going tit for tat against the GOP or California's Prop 50 ballot measure than me. I literally raised $1 million toward it. I'm proud of the fact that it happened. But in retrospect, adding 5 Democratic seats to neutralize 5 Republican seats in Texas was not a deterrent, clearly. To his credit, here's what Mark Elias said a year ago.
Look, Republicans don't care about democracy. Republicans support Donald Trump because he's an authoritarian. And they will abuse every norm. They will violate every tradition. They will seek to weaponize every law, every practice, everything that they can in order to gain power for the sake of having power. And they are not going to be deterred from doing that if they, turn a grotesque map into an obscene map in Texas and our response is, okay, well, we found, 4 or 5 seats of our own. They will take that as a win, right? Because they've done what they want. And then, as you say, they will move on to Missouri. They'll move on to Florida. They'll move on to Ohio. They will move on to Utah. They will move on to, wherever will be their next place. And they will not be deterred. What we need to do is we need to recognize that if we want to stop the slide of democracy, we as Democrats, we as people in the pro-democracy movement need to tell them that if they take 5 seats, we're going to put 30 seats on the table. Right? Because they need to understand that there will not just be parity if things go against them, but actually if they guess wrong and this winds up escalating, they could wind up on the severe losing side. So when people say to me, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, I don't even want to bring a gun to a gunfight. I want to bring something more than a gun to the gunfight, right? I want to bring missiles to the gunfight. I want to bring hand grenades to the gunfight because I want the other side to understand that not only are we going to fight as hard as them, but we are going to fight smarter than them.
And he's right. You gain nothing by going tit for tat. You have to go on offense, which brings me to the third and final point. We now know the Republican strategy. It's not a secret. It's not going to sneak up on us. They will gerrymander every Democratic district out of existence. Just you wait. They're doing it now. Their judges will let them do it, even if expressly prohibited by their own state constitutions. Florida proved as much. So our only recourse now, recognizing what they are doing in broad daylight, is to go on full offense. That means that Democratic officials in New Jersey, New York, Illinois, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and on need to wake the fuck up and start redrawing these maps for full Democratic control. Why? Because going tit for tat deters no one. You need to show Republicans some deterrent effect for what they're doing. And also consider this, if Democrats do go all out, guess what? They can actually win the redistricting war. California has 52 seats. Republicans currently hold 7. That's a big haul. New York has 26 seats. Republicans currently hold 7. So these governors and state legislators in blue states need to realize that this is no longer about fairness. It is about fighting back so that Democrats are not scientifically engineered out of the House forever. And I get that Democrats don't really have the stomach for this kind of stuff, for this kind of warfare. Find it. The time for good government solutions is long gone. Now it's existential. I'm going to read an excerpt from my new book, The Day After, which was written expressly because Democrats do not wield power while Republicans are content to abuse it. How have Republicans managed to skew democracy so much? Because they pursue power over principle, whereas too many Democrats pursue fairness and good government. Republicans controlled the drawing of 191 of the districts in 2024, compared to only 75 controlled by Democrats. The rest of the House districts were drawn by commissions, courts, or divided state governments. In the Democratic strongholds of California and New York, there are independent redistricting commissions. In Texas and Florida, there's no such thing. In Republican-controlled districts, there is little legal recourse to correct the maps. In their largely conservative courts, the judges often refrain from interfering with map schemes, unlike the mostly liberal courts reviewing maps in Democratic districts. One party wields power recklessly and aggressively, the other party just shies away from it. But at a moment when democracy itself is endangered, is on the line, that kind of disparity is literally going to relegate Democrats into obscurity forever. I should also note that if you'd like to support my work, if you'd like to support that message, please consider pre-ordering my book The Day After. I'm going to put the link right here on the screen, in the post description of this video, and also in the comments of this video. I really appreciate it. So look, at this point, I hope that everybody watching recognizes that the onus is now on us to apply as much pressure as humanly possible to our blue state officials. And if they won't do it, like Maryland State Senate President Bill Ferguson, then we need to support other people who will, like Bobby Lepin, who is running against him. If they won't do it, like Colorado Governor Jared Polis, then we need to support the gubernatorial candidates in Colorado who will. And the same goes for every seat in every blue state there is. Now is do or die. Our democracy quite literally depends on it. You're watching the No Lie podcast. Next up are my interviews with LA mayoral candidate Nithya Raman